Welcome to Wild Flow, the podcast with me, your host, Charlotte Pointeaux. I'm a wild feminine cycle coach here for the awakened woman who is ready to reclaim her body, menstrual cycle and feminine power, and to live, love and lead in flow with nature's wisdom. In this podcast, I'll share how you can live in sync with your menstrual cycle and life seasons, heal your relationship with your womb and rites of passages, and embody your wild feminine as a multi-passionate woman in life, mothering and business. It's your time to flourish as a cyclical being in this modern world. Are you ready? Let's flow. Hello, hi, welcome to Wild Flow with me, Charlotte. It's so great to have you here. Thank you so much for tuning in. So this episode, I just wanted to give you an introduction so that we could get to know each other a bit and I could share my why for being here. Why am I doing this? So as I said, I'm Charlotte. I'm a mum of 3 little girls aged 1 to 5. I'm originally from Nottingham in the UK, but now live in the Southern Highlands, which is a region about 2 hours south of Sydney in Australia. I'm in my mid-30s, currently 35, and I've been living in Australia for almost 10 years, and it's almost my 10-year wedding anniversary as well, coming up in a couple of months. God, that makes me feel kind of old, I can tell you, but we are so looking forward to hopefully grabbing a quick little holiday, just the two of us, if we can swing that with COVID life, that is. I met my husband Phil when I backpacked to Australia when I was 19, and then we travelled around Southeast Asia, Europe and later South America. And one day both of us we just really want to go backpacking again, to like go back to that stage of life when the kids are older. Maybe we'll have that laptop lifestyle that we didn't really get around to as golden oldies. Bring it. So a little bit about me. I'm a massive fan of sitting in women's circles, and I've held my own monthly for 3 years, minus a bit of time when I had a baby. Plus I also hold circles for mums and daughters and others just for girls as well. Circle for me is a really magical, nourishing part of my life, a really powerful process for both my personal growth. Holding circles, I think, has been one of the most powerful personal growth adventures that I've been on. And also it's where I've met some really treasured friends. I think that you can, spend 2 hours in circle with a complete stranger and walk out of that circle knowing them so much better than people that you've known for a really long time. When it's done right, you can just be so open and transparent and really connect so deeply. I love being in my garden. And after years and years of living in apartments with not much of a balcony at all, in fact, sometimes barely even sunlight, having a full-blown garden with veggie patch, fruit trees, roses, it still hasn't lost its novelty. I do miss living near the beach though, because now I live in the countryside. We're only an hour and a half away from the beach, but it's kind of far enough. I used to live within a short stroll from the sea, like literally minutes. And gosh, I really love water. It's one of my favorite elements. I used to go and dive into the water after work and it would like wash away the whole day. It was just so amazing. And I really miss that actually. You'll find me hanging out with my fam, scoffing dark chocolate, sipping licorice tea and either learning. I'm a generator in human design, if you know much about that. And I just can't get enough of learning. I'm always learning something new. My brain just loves to learn. I love pulling oracle cards and journaling. I love embodiment practices. Recently, I've really been having an amazing time going to a local conscious dance 5-week circle. It's just been really awesome. I just love being in my body, which really has not always been a thing. That's been pretty recent. I'm a Sagittarius sun, a Cancer moon, and a Leo rising. And yeah, that feels like a pretty accurate reflection. So what's led me to this point today? Well, back in the day, I did a degree in biology back in the UK. And at the time I was a bit like, why did I study that? But now it kind of makes sense. I've always been fascinated in the world we live in, the natural world, ecosystem, like how we interact with the natural world around us and what our place and purpose is in this world. And biology was something that I just really loved. I was really interested in conservation as well. So yeah, it's sort of, I can see now, the lessons that I really got out of that time. More recently, after having my second baby, life really changed for me. We moved out here, we left Sydney. All our values changed, our priorities changed. And I trained as a youth mentor because at the time I felt a huge pull to be that person for girls that I wished I'd had in my life when I was that age. I trained as a certified life coach as well with the Beautiful You Coaching Academy. I'm a sacred circle holder and recently an integrative pelvic health facilitator. I really love working in shamanic ways with women to really help women connect back to their womb spaces and body wisdom, because for so many of us, this is just not something that we've grown up having a strong relationship with. And reclaiming this is powerful, it's transformational, it's life-changing, and I really think it's having, a massive impact on the world at large. Or it can do if enough of us really reclaim our bodies and learn to live in harmony and reverence for it. Right, so wild flow, what's this all about then? Basically, it's taken me a couple of years to really pluck up the courage to start this podcast and to share the knowledge and experience that I've picked up from all the trainings I've done, all the life experiences, good and bad. I believe wholeheartedly that this is divine timing and that I'm here today speaking to you for a reason. I'm pretty excited. So this podcast is born because right now, I think, in my world anyway, from what I've seen, there's just so much talk about fixing periods, hormones, and a lot of talk about what the ideal menstrual cycle experience should look like. But to me, as someone who hasn't really ever had a normal menstrual cycle, I think we need to be having wider conversations about what all cycles can look like for all people, and to put the power back into your hands so that you can understand your own particular experience of your cycle without feeling like it isn't like a textbook cycle or something, because that's just not helpful to anyone. No menstrual cycle is the same. No person is the same. Everybody experiences it slightly differently. So I really want to empower you to understand your cycle, your experience, and to live in flow, pardon the pun, with yours. So a bit about mine. I had my first bleed, my menarche, the rite of passage around about 12. I think I was 11 turning 12 or about then. I can't be exactly sure. And I used to have really heavy bleeds. I remember being in pain, bleeding through during the night, taking time off school because of pain. I had bad skin. And I went onto the pill when I turned 16. And I stayed on that for years. So I went on it because of my skin was one thing, but also, the heaviness of the bleeds. So I stayed on it for years, just without thinking really, just thinking it was super convenient not to have periods if I wanted to skip one. The pain went away, it was much more regular. But, side note, a period when you are taking hormonal contraception isn't a true period because you're not ovulating. Ovulation is when your ovaries release the egg, and that happens roughly once a month. And so ovulation is necessary for it to be a proper menstrual cycle. So the bleed that you experience on the pill is just a withdrawal bleed. It's almost a bit, I don't want, fake bleed seems a bit, it's not a fake bleed, but it's just not a true period. So, it's not good for our long-term health. And this is something that I'm going to talk to you much more about in a later episode. But I just thought it was super convenient. So I didn't think twice about it until I went backpacking for a year, and a doctor told me to come off that pill and to go on a different one because they thought it would just be easier for me. But actually all that happened was I bled, I felt quite depressed, my mood changed, I just had no libido either. I just didn't really know who I was. It was awful. So I scrapped that pretty quickly and then went back onto the pill when I got back to the UK a year later. It was only when I was I think I was 28 when I decided that I was going to come off the pill with, thinking about going to have my first baby. Bloody hell, that was a bit of a shock. I felt terrible. I thought I might be pregnant already. I was getting dizziness and lightheadedness. I was getting hot flashes. I had all kinds of cramping going on. I felt a bit nauseous, all these symptoms that kind of overlap with early pregnancy. And I was like, well, what the hell is this? And I didn't realize, that was withdrawing from the pill. You've got to detox all of those synthetic hormones from your body, and it just takes quite a while. And it took me about 9 months to conceive my first baby. But if I'd have known that this was going to be a withdrawal process, it would have saved a lot of stress, and wondering why things weren't going to plan. So since that point, I've never been back on the pill, and I've just been, au naturel, I guess, for want of another way of explaining it. So my oldest kid now, she's about to turn 6, and in that time, I've not really had a regular menstrual cycle. I've been breastfeeding for a lot of it. I've been pregnant. I've got 3 children. And my youngest is, she's going to be 2 later this year. And between children, I've had maybe a couple of periods, and that's really been about it. My periods just not come back, for more than a year at least, after having a child. So yeah, living without a cycle has really left me feeling a little bit confused at times as to, where my energy's at. I've sort of wondered when it's going to come back, and, how I can really work with my cycle and my energy when I haven't had a menstrual cycle. So sometimes it's felt brilliant and I've loved it. I think particularly after my first baby, I was like, awesome, no period. But it was only really after I had my second child that I started to discover this world of menstrual cycle awareness and, really learn about, what's going on in the body and the fact that it can be a gift. For me, it was just always something that was just such an inconvenience and really painful. So yeah, it was when I sort of thought, hang on a minute, really started to understand what was going on in my body, that I took on a whole new appreciation of what the menstrual cycle is and what hormones are, why it's important for long-term health, and how we change, how to respect that rather than it just be, oh, it's hormones, it's that time of the month again, have you got PMS, all of that bagging that people do on living in a female body. So since being postpartum for the second time, I leaned into working with the moon and the natural seasons, and that's really helped me because it's grounded me in the changing cycles and appreciation of the season of life that I'm in as well, and how you can work with those different energies even when you don't know what's going on in your body, like if your cycle's missing. So this is something you can really do if you have an irregular cycle or no cycle, for whatever reason that is at all. And that's something that I really love, to help women to embed, even women with menstrual cycles, to embed these other cycles and seasons that exist in the natural world and to work with them. So I'm all about guiding you to find a rhythm that feels right for you and to work with that. I'm also a mum in business. I have my own business. It's busy. I've got a couple of staff just very, very recently, which feels a bit amazing and a bit strange. I've been doing this for so long by myself. My husband also runs his own business. So for a really long time, especially with such young children, I've been so tired. I've had barely any sleep for all those years. I've tried to really work with a fuzzy head, no energy, trying to squeeze my work that felt like a side hustle as well into really small hours. And so for me, that's looked like prioritizing my husband's business because his was the one that was making money. It's meant that I worked late nights and, really long late nights as well. And that's just caused me to burn out a few times. I just had no concept of how to use the cycles to turbocharge my productivity and creativity either. But also I experience a lot of frustration with really honoring the season of life that I'm in and trusting that this will pass. And to really get the magic, to really savor and be present fully as a mother. And that's something else that working with the cycles really helps me to do. It helps me to be present and mindful and to just really trust that all is well and all is meant to be and all will be in its right time. So yeah, by working with the menstrual cycle when I had one, the moon and the seasons when it was MIA, I've found a rhythm that helps me to prioritize rest, to appreciate and use the power of dreaming and visioning, and to really call in play as much as doing. So I've really surrendered to this and taken that emphasis of that do, and that being a measure of my success and productivity. And it's really helped me to, like I say, to just be where I'm at. And because of that, my health and business are on fire. So I'm here to guide you to reclaim a feminine way of working. That's what it means to honor these cycles, is a really feminine way, and to not just be on all the time. That's a masculine way. I want you to lead and live a life that honors the season of life that you're in and helps you to banish that capitalist way of working, and instead celebrate all that you are and all that you do, just like ancient cultures revered women as the matriarchs, the leaders, the powerful ones in our societies. So what's this going to look like? I'm going to create weekly episodes for you that offer you wisdom that you can reflect on and integrate into your own being and way of life. Sometimes I might miss a week, and I'm just going to say that right now, because if it means I have to push on when my body needs a break, I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to honor my body instead. So we'll see how I go at getting organized enough to share weekly. I'm totally going to be creating this poddy in line with my menstrual and the moon cycles and seasons as well. And I'd love to bring you along for that ride so that you can do that for yourself. We'll cover all kinds of topics on feminine energy, menstrual and moon cycles, leading, living and loving from a cyclical place, cyclical self-care practices and rituals that can help you anchor into your own practice for your own cycle experience, and to help you to really work less, feel better, and earn more money. I'm going to guide you as well to understand more about what the female rites of passages are and how you can work with those and heal those, because they're powerful, long forgotten experiences, parts of our life. They're portals, and they directly shape who we are now, where we've been and who we're becoming. So I've got a whole lot of powerful goodness coming your way. So now I've introduced myself, I'd love to get to know you. If you'd like to join this community, I'd love you to come over and follow me on Instagram. I'm at charlotte.pointeaux, and you're going to have to get to learn to be able to spell my name. It's Pointeaux. I want you to come over and say, hey, I love hearing from you. Connection is one of my absolute highest values. And for me, there's nothing better. So please don't be shy. Come over, drop me a message, say hi, let me know what you think. And thank you just so much for being here. All right, loves, catch you next time. Thank you so much for listening in. If you're loving this podcast and you'd love to help me spread the wisdom shared, please leave a review or rating, or share this with somebody who you think would love to listen in. I'm really passionate about creating ripples of change and getting this information to more women, girls, and people with a cycle so that they can reclaim their cyclic natures too. And if you'd love to dive in deeper with learning more about how to connect with your cycle and rites of passages, come and join our free Wild Flow Circle community, or choose a course and learn with me on my online learning hub. All the links are in the show notes. And until next time, be well and go with the flow of your cyclic nature.